Good day, my enviable viewers, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am Folahan Oyelekun. Today, I'm discussing The Life Changer, written by Khadijah Abubakar Jalli. The Life Changer is a recommended text by JAMB. It's a literature recommended text by all candidates that will be writing JAMB. So, it's very important for everybody, every student that is preparing for JAMB to read this text. Now, let's go ahead and discuss the plot summary of The Life Changer. Now, we first of all go through the major characters we have in The Life Changer. This text is about a family. That is the family of Hamad. So, Mr. Hamad is the father. Hamad is the mother. Omar is the first child and the only male child. Tima is the second child. Jamila is the third child. Bint is the baby of the house. Malan Saliu is social studies teacher. Salma Mohammed is Umi's schoolmate in the university. Salim is Sama's fiancé. John is the cleaner in the university. Dr. Samuel Johnson is Umi's HOD. Akimi is the district head. Tale is the quiet one. Zaki is a kidnapper and thug. Dr. Dabo is a lecturer. Tomiwa, Ngozi, Ada, and Sama's roommate. Labaran is Habib driver and friend. Honorable Habib is the speaker and Tomiwa's boyfriend. Kolawole Abdul is Sama's classmate. Dr. Kabir Mohammed is a fake doctor and gambler. Katagi is the leader of the gamblers. Gumusu is a thug and gambler. Natasha is Salim's internet girlfriend, while Dr. Amina is the invigilator. Let's now go ahead and discuss the plot summary of The Life Changer. The Life Changer is about a family of six. Mr. Ahmad is the father. Umi Ahmad is the mother. Omar is the firstborn and the only male child. Tima is the secondborn, followed by Jamila and Bint is the baby of the house. Omar, an 18-year-old, just gets admission to study law in Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. He has earlier had 7 credits, including mathematics and English language, in WAEC examination. He then purchased JAMB form and filled it online. He scored 230 out of 400. Omar gives the admission letter to her mother, who receives it with great joy. Omar then warns that none of his sisters should break the news to his father when he comes back from work. Omar also explains to his mother the importance of having a smartphone. While his friends checked their results from the comforts of their rooms, he had to wait for 2 days, visiting a cafe, before he would check his results. Amanda then promises to look into it when his father is back from the bank where he works. His mother then asks if he knows the implication of the admission in his life. Omar says it means he has arrived and become a member of the intelligentsia. His mother smiles at his naivety and tells him that it is a life changer for him. That is, his being given admission is a life changer for him, while Omar is taking it another way. Let's continue. Omar asks for further explanation on the meaning of a life changer. In explaining this to his son, Umi cites her own personal experiences in the university as well as those of others in the university community. Umi expresses the carefree attitudes of the people on the campus, everybody going about their businesses without any care. It is even difficult to differentiate students from teachers as there is no wearing of uniform. She later explained to him that his department has a dress code: black trousers, white shirts, and black neckties. The girls wear skirts instead of trousers. She then calls the attention of Umar to the way the girls in university dress. This is talking about the indecent dressing of campus girls. Their mother shares her experience with a schoolmate, Sama Mohammed, a tall, slim, and bossy campus girl. Sama puts on tight-fitting clothes to the faculty registration office. Her dressing attracts the boys around. Sama, who comes around barely 15 minutes, starts complaining about the lecturer not attending to them. She says they are inconsiderate and heartless. A young man tries to calm Sama down to be patient like others she met there. Sama tells the man, who is later discovered to be the lecturer they are waiting for, that she knows the lecturers better, that they are like policemen at the checkpoint. She even assures the man that she could influence the lecturer with money, as money moves mountains. To the amazement of everybody, the man in the office comes out and tells the man who has been engaging Sama that the office is ready for use. The man is the lecturer they have been waiting for. What a surprise. While everybody looks on, Sama is just shivering like a rain-drenched chicken. Umi also shares her experience during her departmental registration in the HOD's office. The initial response of Dr. Samuel Johnson, who is the HOD, makes her to be suspicious that the man has an ulterior motive about her. To her amazement, the man is discovered to be her husband's friend, who even assisted the husband in her admission. On that day, Mr. Ahmad, the husband, narrated an incident about a neighbor he referred to as the quiet one. Umar then asked his mother to tell them about the quiet one. Before she narrates the story, she tells Umar that the story will be relevant to him as he is leaving the village for a bigger town. He is warned not to trust everybody he meets. She says it's not like their own small community, Lafayette, where they know one another, and a stranger cannot just come without the approval of the district head, called the Akime. In the town, everybody mixes up. He's only trying to give a sort of advice to his boy that is going to a bigger town. Let's continue. The quiet one is Tale, a native of Lafayette. He experienced that problem of childbearing several years after they were married. They later consulted a traditional medicine man. This resulted in the birth of Tale. He was named Tale because his mother died after his birth. Tale was known to be a quiet person. He was never seen engaging in arguments with anybody. Hence, he was seen as a responsible person in the community. He was barely 20 years when he lost his father in a car accident. He lived alone. Nobody could say anything about him. To the surprise of the people, Tale was arrested for his involvement in kidnapping, armed robbery, and extortion. Let me put a comma there. In kidnapping, armed robbery, and extortion. Yeah. He was whisked away by the police. Omar is also advised against involving in an exam malpractice. His mother cited the example of Sama, who was admitted into university, but because of her involvement in exam malpractice, had to be expelled before gaining admission to women's school again. This literature text, apart from the fact that it's going to be used to write a JAMB exam, it's very useful for every student that is preparing to go to an institution. There are a lot of experiences that are shared here. So those experiences, let's learn from them so that they become part of us. The lesson we learn from them, we learn from those experiences. By the time we get to the university, those things will not be new to us. In fact, we have such experience. We must also cite the example of Sama's encounter with Dr. Dabo, a very disciplined and no-nonsense lecturer, to illustrate how tempting and seductive the campus girls could be with their dresses. She dressed provocatively, holding her registration files and walk into Dr. Dabo's office. It has never happened to him to look at the girls twice, talk less of having the thoughts about them. Dr. Dabo could not explain what goes on inside his body when he sighted Sama that day. He couldn't resist the temptation to that made him created interest in Sama. So Dr. Dabo creates interest in Sama. That's what they are trying to tell us there. He told Sama that he wanted him to be friends. He told Sama that he wanted them to be friends. That is, the moment he creates interest in Sama, he now tells Sama that they should be friends. Sama declined the offer, and Dr. Dabo hated himself immediately. He then tendered his apologies. He was then praying to God to forgive him and not to put him in shame. He prayed that it doesn't go beyond his office. That is, what happened between them should not go beyond the office. Sama, on her part, didn't even give it any thought. She considered Dr. Dabo as no match for her. The hostel accommodation is another experience shared by Umi, Uma's mother, for the children. She also uses Sama's experiences in the hostel. Sama does not initially like the room occupation, as she is to stay with roommates from different parts of the country. She later finds them friendly and do things in common. They are the famous Queen Amina Hall. Sama is from the north, Tomoa from the west, and God from Imo State, and Ada from Benue State. They live together in harmony, but an incident nearly marred the relationship between Sama and Tomoa. Sama was going back to the school from home one late evening. Two men in a Mercedes-Benz car offered to give her a lift. The two men are Abib and Labaran, who are childhood friends. Abib is the speaker of the house, and Labaran is his driver. Abib showed interest in Sama, but Sama was not interested. She then gave Abib Tomewa's number. In the evening of the next day, Tomewa's phone rang. She was hesitating, but Sama encouraged her to go, that they may not know the difference between them. Tomewa met the two men inside the car parked in front of the hostel. Abib noticed the difference between the girl of yesterday and the one of today, but he remained calm. They later agreed to go to a restaurant, and Labaran was sent to go and get them some things. After Labaran left, Abib told Tomewa that she was not the girl he picked yesterday. This annoyed Tomewa a bit, but they later resolved it after an apology from Abib. It was there Abib told Tomewa that Labaran was his driver. Labaran later came with many provisions and beverages that Tomewa thought that the goods were purchased for their children. The goods were handed over to Tomewa, and Abib told her that they were for her and her roommate. He also gave her 50,000 naira. She was to take 20,000 naira and 10,000 for each of the roommates. The room was enveloped with joy when Tomewa arrived in the room, especially when they saw the provisions and beverages he bought. That is, the provision, the beverages that she brought in. Sama was not happy with the turn of events. She said she should be appreciated that she was the one that started everything. This nearly caused division among them, but was amicably resolved, and they became more united. They all lived in harmony till the final year. The final exam timetable came out, and they all prepared well for the exam. Sama was not happy because she was the one that supposed to go and meet them and collect all those things. So that's why she's now not happy when Tomowa comes back to the room with all those gifts. The event that led to the expulsion of Sama from university are explained here, and Omar is asked to learn from it. The final exam was on, and it remained the very last paper which was moral philosophy. It was one of the easiest subjects because the course content contained the teachings of the parents and religious leaders. Surprisingly, Sama found the course very difficult. She never attended the class because she believed that she could pass the course without attending the class like most students. She also relied on the recycling of the questions for the past 3 years. She attended the tutorials with other students. On the day of the exam, Sama dressed more gorgeous and appears more beautiful than the other days. She was in the exam hall. The moment the paper was given to her, she knew there was a problem. None of the topics discussed came out. She looked round and saw that her classmates were busy writing. Kolawole Abdul, who was the brightest student, sat next to her. He has already written pages upon pages. The invigilator, who was a female, discovered that Sama was the only one not writing. She has already created hatred towards Sama as a result of her provocative dressing. Sama gave Kola a signal, but the latter doesn't want anything to implicate him. Kola used the opportunity of the invigilator not paying attention to write some answers and give it to Sama. Let me have a correction there. So let's continue. Sama was later discovered by the invigilator because someone that had not been writing anything was now busy writing. She was caught and persuaded to fill the Emma form. Kola and the female student sitting beside Sama were asked to sign the witness forms. That's how somebody that's cheating can be discovered. Somebody that's not been writing before, and suddenly he or she starts writing. The law will be suspicious that something is fishing. Let's continue. Sama was summoned by the EMEC, that is Exam Malpractice and Ethics Committee of the school, but tried all possible means of evading justice. She confided in Tomiwa on the case and suggested telling Labaran to see Abib on her behalf, who could help talk to the chairman of the committee, the vice chancellor, or the people in the higher position. Sama met Abib in his office and suggested that the chairman of EMEC could be bribed with 200,000 or 300,000 naira, as he was known to be corrupt. Abib then asked her what would she give him in return if he gave her such amount of money. That is, what is she taking back in return if he paid that money? Someone reminded Abib that he knew the money was not for her. She also remembered her relationship with Labaran and Tomiwa, his girlfriend. Abib told her not to join issue with Labaran and Tomiwa and urged her to cooperate. She later succumbed and was surprised that the office door was already locked. Unfortunately for Sama, the money got to the wrong hand because she couldn't give it directly to the chairman directly. Sama later honored the invitation of the EMA. He honored the invitation of the EMA committee, where she implicated Kola that he was the one that gave it to her. Remember Kola, the brightest student in the class? She was however surprised that she didn't see Dr. Kabir Mohammed. She gave 100,000 to. Sama, along with Kolawole Abdul, were expelled from the university. Sama afterwards said Dr. Kabir paid for it. He then tells Umar Hassan not to break any rule made. He should learn from Kolawole Abdul's fate and the Exam Malpractice Committee judgments. Dr. Kabir, that collected money from Sama, was not a medical doctor. It was a nickname given to him in the secondary school, and he was popular with the name. He was only employed as a laboratory technologist in the university. Wonderful. So the money got to a wrong hand. Dr. Kabir is just an appellation. It's not just an appellation or a nickname. It's not his real name. Let's continue. After Sama left the committee, she cried to Labaran and explained her how she was due by Dr. Kabir. Labaran carried out some investigations on him and he got the information about him. He was also said to be a gambler. Labaran planned how to deal with him. Labaran suggested to Habib that Zaki could be given the assignment of dealing with Dr. Kabir, and he was eventually given the job. Zaki trailed Kabir to the gambling joint. After Kabir won 300,000 naira, he stood up to leave the joint, to the surprise of the gamblers there. Katagi, leader of the gambling group, then signaled one of the thugs named Gumuzu to follow Kabir and teach him a lesson for leaving the joint against the rule of the joint that nobody leaves while winning. When Kabir got to a dark place, Gumuzu pounced on him. It was then that Zaki knew that somebody else was pursuing Kabir. He also jumped on the two. Gumuzu's thoughts was that Katagi didn't trust him. That was why he sent another thug after him and promised to deal with his boss. He doesn't know that another set of people are still looking for Kabir. That's why he's thinking that it's the boss that sent those people. Let's continue. Zaki overpowered the two of them, dealt seriously with Kabir, collected 300,000 naira from him, and asked him whether he knew Sama. She answered in the affirmative. He then told Kabir that the money he collected from him was for Sama. Zaki kicked Kabir again and he gave up the ghost. He died. Zaki handed the money to Labaran and he was given 50,000 naira. Labaran kept the rest with himself. He decided not to give the money to Habib because he was the speaker of the house and did not need such a small amount of money. Habib did not also know the amount collected from Kabir. If at all he collected anything, he also believed that the money would not be given to Sama freely without Habib having something in return. Omar comments that there is no justice on earth. His mother then tells him that there is justice in the hereafter. Omar responds that he isn't in a hurry to go there. Bint also says the same thing. This reminds their mother the incident that happened when Sama lost her father while in the university. Sama came back to the school 8 days after the funeral looking haggard as a result of mourning. Her friends and roommates had gone to commiserate with her. Ngozi then asked her why they were always in a hurry to bury their dead. It was Tomiwa that responded to the question, being a Muslim. Also, she explained that they don't bury people but corpse. As soon as this person is dead, his personality ceases. She also said they weren't eager to bury their dead but anxious to let them get well when healed. And when they die, they will not want to delay their meetings with their Creator, in which they believe they were anxious of. Lastly, they don't delay burial to lessen the grief of the family and friends of the corpse. There were much argument on this as Ngozi argued that burial should be delayed for the children and relations to come around and pay the last respect. Tommy also replied that the more they delay in the burial, the more the family and friends are tormented. They later agreed that none of them loved their dead ones less with the way they were buried. They all slept quietly that night. Omar's comments that he loved the story elicited a response from Tima that annoyed Omar. Tima then said she would tell their father that Omar would be using the smartphone to pursue girls when bought for him. Umi then tries to cool the tension that is gathering momentum. She explained the advantages and the disadvantages of owning a smartphone. She narrates the sad experience of Salma's boyfriend, Salim, with smartphone. After the death of Salma's father, she decided to become decent. She hooked up with Salim as her fiancé. Salim discovered several dating sites and downloaded the applications. He also belonged to almost all the social media networks. Salim went to a friend of his named Lawa and told him that he had a new girlfriend. Salim met the purported girl on one of the dating sites and fell for her. He told Lawa to accompany him to meet the girl. The latter declined, that he would not want to betray Sama, and also the girl in question might turn out to be different from what they thought. Salim went alone to meet the girl and came back to tell Lawa that the girl really used another person's picture as a DP to deceive him, as earlier said by Lawa. He said the girl looked unpresentable. Lawa burst into uncontrollable laughter. He said Salim was even lucky that the girl did not chat him up to look him by making demands from him, or she might turn out to be a man and end up being kidnapped. Salim then remembered a similar experience he had a month earlier. He had met Natasha, who lived in the university town near Lafayette, on the internet. Salim was more attracted to Natasha because of the pictures sent to him in which some were nude pictures. She one day invited Salim to visit her, and he set off to honor the invitation. He drove his father's SUV to the place. He later realized that Natasha was used as a bait to hook him. On getting there, Salim fell into the trap of two men who were with Natasha. The plan was to forcefully snatch the car from him, but was able to escape from them by the whiskers. Shortly after the incident, Salim was engaged to Sama. Omar was advised by their mother to make good use of the smartphone and avoid the negative effects of social media. She then suggests that they inform their father in unison when he comes back that Omar has gotten an admission. That is just the plot summary of the life changer, written by Khadijah Abubakar Jalli. Please, if you are just joining this channel, try and subscribe to this channel so that whenever I release any video, you'll be notified. And you are free to share any of my video on your social media accounts, be it Facebook, Twitter, and the rest. Invite your friend, especially literature English students. There are a lot of gain on this channel. Thank you, and God bless.